Good morning. I believe I want to critically talk about the Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore. I can't pronounce the name of the surname, but that is not the message. The message is that I've been praying to God that Africa must be rescued from the slavery that President Hakainde Hichilema penned his signature in agreement with the Pope Francis that he will be consulting for the guidance of the nation from Pope Francis and their partners in the governance of Zambia in the fulfillment of the vision of 1990. I've been actually mentioning a lot of things that I've said in my various videos on YouTube and TikTok. I know you may look at the background and everything. I'm not even too much an expert to these things, because even when I'm an expert, I'm in the cave like Elijah. I have no access to my home where I used to do my printing of the books. Here where I am, when a book like these books, they've been like this one. It has now, since 2001, I added this cover to this cover, the old cover inside, just to preserve it. Using a bow stick, I add like this one also, which was published in 2008. When I look at it, I find that it is getting damaged. I do the mending so that it can be preserved as a record of truth. Because if a person would say, no, evangelist, whatever you are saying, it is not true, you never mentioned it. There is not even a single word that I've never mentioned regarding the happenings of today. The only thing that defines correction in my 3 books, this one, the airport trap, as the first volume of 2001, this one, the criminal trespass, open letter to Dr. Manawasa of 2008, you can even see that this book is of old, meaning that it is keeping the original statements without altering or editing. Then also this one, the President Obama pig pen predicament, which actually is the picking point of whatever is written in this book, as it was written in the first volume. This one, the airport trap. Now look, I want to say this. Africa, upon realizing, because I'm actually adding on the video that I've already quoted from these 2 books about the new Joseph, who is Obama, who presided over America, as bearing an image of a slave, in the equal representation of Joseph, who was a governor in Egypt. Critically straightforward interpretation. Then coming to my weddings that I used to say, then a new king raised, which was typically true. After Obama, a new king who came in is Donald Trump, and he rejected all the partnership, all the agreement, all the donor aid whatsoever. To my appreciation of Donald Trump is that he reversed the Declaration of Gay Rights, where a man must marry a man, a woman must marry a woman. Donald Trump had to put it clearly to say God created only a woman and a man. No one will come this morning to say, I feel like today I'm a woman. Again, the same person tomorrow he goes back, I feel like I'm a man. Donald Trump said no to that. Donald Trump also said no to donor aid to Africa. Africa must fetch for itself. I said, amen. Praise God. Because Africa, it has been brainwashed to think that it survives on donors' support. Africa, it has resources which they even don't know. They have syllabuses in classes which do not talk about God, do not teach them how to dig God, do not teach them how to process God, do not teach them anything concerning natural resources. They only teach them about how much is God selling on the market, in the world market. But who is selling, who is benefiting? It's the same like the SDA church, the ABCD, the Adventist Book Center. You only know that you have to buy a book from the ABC, you have to buy your soya chunks, your Milo, which is pure tea, rooibos, let me say rooibos tea. So, but ask them, where is this money reported? They don't know. Who is the beneficiary of the books which are sold? They don't know. How much has been sold in the oil? They don't know. But the only thing they know that we are also taking a 13th Sabbath offering to help the poor in Europe. This is the same applies with the politics. Politics of multi-party democracy cannot return the natural resources to the benefit share of the citizen. If all politically elected president, democratic politically elected president cannot follow suit to Ibrahim Traore, then my prayer is that let every president be removed by military coup, because they are not listening to God. It is as easy as Hakainde today waking up this morning and announcing to say, my country shall benefit the citizen in natural resources. As easy as that. And the parliament will all accept, because we've realized that we are kept in slavery. Burkina Faso today, if you can see the development which is advertised in Burkina Faso, you can even desire to go there. You can even desire to be a citizen there. But our countries, for example, here in South Africa, we find that our President Ramaphosa is failing to return the U.S. ambassador back to America, whereas his ambassador has been returned back here. This is the fear Africa has. We are failing to stand on our own. Let us stand and reclaim our right to our natural resources. Then God is going to bless us. We can never be beggars. We can never have refugees fleeing to Europe for green pastures. We can never think of going to Europe because Europe is being fed from our natural resources. We can create our natural economical base by controlling every natural resource, producing finished products. That's the reason why I warned Michael Sata in a vision of 2008 and told him to say, if you happen to win, they'll kill you, because he was telling them to say, I don't need donor aid. I need you to give me means to process my natural resources so that you can buy a finished product. It is my prayer. I know truth which is said as truth, it has a lot of enemies. And the enemies of truth are the same people that want us to remain slaves in our own countries. Slaves, even we cannot manage to eat because they are getting everything that was supposed to benefit us to their own benefit. And thereafter they give us the same with a lot of interest, telling us to say, Kwacha cannot do what? Cannot appreciate. It continues to depreciate. It continues to lose its power. But pound and US dollars remains on the same stage. I want to appeal to you to say, when you are listening to me, I've written these books and I've written the other 12, which I call the open letter to President Hakainde Hichilema, to plead with him, if I may return home, so that I can practice freedom of what? Of worship. But I've realized, I've contacted the offices they are quiet. They don't want me to return home because of this truth that I'm preaching. And where I am, I'm actually in a cave. I'm not free to do what I want to do. I'm not free to preach the gospel. I want Africa to unite so that as Africans, indigenous Africans, we can be free to preach our God who reviews things through visions and dreams. And the leaders like Lungu, I've been pleading with Edgar Lungu, the former president, because his suffering was shown to me before he became president. Can I pray for him? And it seems they are not willing to get heed to the God. It's because democracy surrounds them with the intelligence system that blocks truth to reach them. I know even right now, Hakainde Hichilema, he cannot have this truth. Maybe even the books, he has not even read them, not even one line, because of the democracy that wants to monitor every president on what he speaks. I want to repeat to say, I watched one news when President Hakainde Hichilema was addressing, it was like a press, I watched that video on a Facebook, where it says that I told you, I promised you to say there will be no load shedding when I come into power. There will be no load shedding when I come into power. Tell me what? He asked one of the journalists to say, is there any load shedding? Have you seen any load shedding? Then the journalist and those who were in the audience, they started laughing, because it is the street which uses Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to go to his residence to go and sleep. He finds the electricity is there. The street which takes him into State House, there's electricity. They switch electricity on wherever he passes so that it doesn't see load shedding. Meanwhile, the country at that time, it was under 12 hours load shedding. So now, I want to tell you to say, certain things that happen when one goes into State House, he fails to fulfill his promises. It's not that he's failing to fulfill. He has no opportunity. He's under siege. He's under hostage. He's kept, like in my case right now. I don't know whether my Facebook is being watched by the followers that are on my page list. I don't know, because I receive anonymous messages which have not changed the password. I'm just told that your password has been changed. Your Facebook has been, the pin has been changed in a certain town and so forth. Now, I even don't know whether there are other posts that have been sent by those people who have hijacked my Facebook. Whatever I'm trying to do, my account in emails and so forth, they have been hijacked because they want the world not to know the truth. They want our president not to know the truth. They want everyone to be kept in darkness. They want no one to know that Africa must unite and that we must separate politics from God. I'm an evangelist. God gave me the gift of seeing visions and dreams. But I want to put a thin line between politics and what? And religious. The reason why politicians would call for United States of Christianity and what? And politics. It's a fake gospel from the purpose. That gospel does not there. Us from the white collar of religion, we call for sanity in politics. We are a voice to warn politicians from doing what is wrong, which is going to affect the citizens. We stand for the poor. Politicians, they stand for the rich. They can even destroy a road which a poor person must use in order to give someone with money. A politician can do anything. A politician can lie. His lies do not follow him. But us as religious people, when we lie, our lies will follow us. We are asked into judgment to account for every word that we say. So for someone to say church and state can work as one, it's a lie. A church must be a light to the politicians. And who are the politicians? We say light and darkness do not do what? Do not work together. But they communicate. They do communicate. When it's time for light to work, darkness goes down. When darkness comes, light also disappears. So politics and religion, they can only communicate, but they cannot work together. They can only give each other time to tell us to say today is the first day, tomorrow is the second day, like today is a Sabbath on the moon level, on the moon calendar, because it's the 15th day of the moon. And the Sabbath as a Saturday, it's the correct Sabbath to Gregory calendar, only for this month alone. The next month, the correct Saturday, it will be no longer correct Sabbath. It will be a different thing. So now, we are communicated by the day and the night. And these two, they cannot meet. I'm simply demonstrating on Christianity. To say Christianity must never involve itself to say full-time politics and full-time church. It cannot work like that. You must be on the side of the church. Me, I've already appealed to many Zambians who are aspiring to go to the office of the president that God has demonstrated everything that is happening from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda to Chiluba, to Manawasa, to Lupia Banda, to Michael Sata, to Lungu, to this one, Hakainde Chilema. There is nothing that came to me by accident. I was telling these people before these things happened. The only person who came in, who had a revelation, I think there are two, like Manawasa, when he became president in 2001, I had the first vision concerning him in 2002, which predicted his death in Egypt. And when Hakainde Chilema called me, it was a surprise call. I don't know who gave him a number that time. By 2008, I received a call from then the opposition leader Hakainde Chilema, asking me about Manawasa. I told him to say, Manawasa has collapsed 3 times. And according to the vision, the third time was, he was in a meeting and he was removed, carried by 8 people. And he had a wound on the back. Then it means that wound stands for death. Manawasa has died. Then Hakainde Chilema asked me to say, you are saying he's dead. Well, they are saying that is in a hospital, in Pest Hospital. I said that Pest Hospital is a propaganda. Manawasa has died. I remember I was challenged by Bishop Joshua. Is it Joshua Banda? Yes, Joshua Banda. Joshua Banda, when a nation called for a national prayer, fasting and national prayer, Joshua Banda, in that fasting and national prayer, I don't know whether I was in State House, wherever they were, he says that God has reviewed me. I saw Manawasa coming back in good health. Then I said, unless God has never spoken to me, Manawasa will not come walking. You come in a coffin. And whatever happened, my declaration, which was based on God's revelation, stood to be true. I remember I was also called to Movie TV in an interview regarding Manawasa's fate in Egypt. I stood my ground. I said Manawasa is dead. They said, no, we cannot put you on news. Everyone else is saying Manawasa is coming back. Manawasa is in good health. I said, no, Manawasa is dead, according to my revelation. Right now, in closing, I'm appealing to Hakainde Chilema to say the same God that declared his ascending into power, the same God who reviewed and warned him about his partnership with Pope Francis, it is the same God today who has kept me alive to witness these books. These others has stayed now. The first volume has stayed for more than 30 years. Then these others, they have stayed more than 20 years. So they are declaring the will of God without altering. The only correction I want to repeat, the only correction in these books is concerning Saturday Sabbath. I believed that Saturday was a Sabbath. That one was not a revelation. It was a belief which I was born believing in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I was born keeping Saturday. God never had not yet revealed to me that it was what? It was a wrong day. Even when God revealed to me later after I left the SDA Church in 2008, I could not understand. I tried to understand which is the true Sabbath, searching for it until 2020, that's when now I came to realize that the true seventh-day Sabbath is decided by the moon, the sun, and stars. When the moon is on a dark phase, it's the first day of the month, which is a new moon day. When the moon has the first crescent moon, is the first day of the week, which gives us the Sabbath on a half or quarter moon, another Sabbath on a full moon, another Sabbath on a quarter moon, another last Sabbath on a crescent last moon. Then it begins again like that. Nothing like a continuous weekly cycle. Thank God that we have heard. I'm here to say African leaders must unite with Ibrahim Traore. And if they unite with this Burkina Faso president, they are doing God's will. I'm also appealing to say, Julius Malema, let's listen to him. He's speaking the same thing with Ibrahim Traore. Let us democratically change and fit in this Burkina Faso president. Let us maintain our own economy, control our own value of money, control our own schools with the right syllabus, which can give us skills. May God bless Hakainde Chilema, bless Cyril Ramaphosa, bless Zuma, bless EFF leader, bless Barack Obama, and even Trump is doing a good job. He has opened the eyes of many Africans to say, depending on donor aid, it will come to an end. May God bless you. Thank you.